Hey YouTubers, this is Aisha and this is going to be part 2 to my Outlander recommendation video. And as I've already said, you've got to check out Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series about time travel. Of course, the most epic of all time travel books was written before this, and that is one of my favorite books and one of my favorite shows, and that is Wells' The Time Machine. And that book considers what happens when science becomes too advanced and what happens to our world. And this guy creates a time machine and travels backwards and forwards after a deep, heartening tragedy happens for him. And I really loved both the movie featuring, what's her name? That Irish singer, black Irish singer, I can't remember her name. And yeah, I'll leave a link down below to the movie. I absolutely loved it, and I read the book and I loved it. I read it when I was younger and I really loved it. So that was what inspired time travel love for me. Then of course Diana Gabaldon came along and made it even better. Lynn Curlin, you know, all the books that were featured in series 1, and now I'm going to feature some more in series 2. So now I've done an author spotlight on this author already, so I'm not going to take too long to show more than a couple of her books. And that's Kiss of the Highlander, Touch of the Highlander, Spell of the Highlander, The Immortal Highlander, To Tame a Highlander, The Dark Highlander, and Beyond the Highland Mist, all by Corinne Marie Moning. I'll leave a link down below to my author spotlight on her and why I love these books. The next one, I discussed this one in a Top 5 Wednesday, and that's Son of the Morning by Linda Howard. This one is an amazing time travel novel, and I really loved it. And this one talked about how time is a continuum and how it's circular instead of just a straight line. It's not linear. I love this book. This one is Georgina Gentry's Timeless Warrior, and this one features a young woman that goes on a trip to the Midwest, and while she's there, she goes to a house that's haunted, and it's well known for seeing a ghost in a painting. And when she goes there, she actually meets the ghost and ends up pulling the ghost forward into time. And this book talks about what happens for modern day time travel, because this was done in the 1990s, like what happens when time travel, just the complications, and it's just funny. I loved it. It was amazing, and it was it talked about things I never really thought about before. So yeah. The next one is Sandra Hill's Frankly My Dear. This one is based off of Scarlett O'Hara's Frankly My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn. That's not the name of the show, but it's Scarlett O'Hara, Frankly My Dear. And everyone loves that romance. So this one, as it says, Frankly My Dear, is based on that time period, and this one actually happens, what happens when a half-black person time travels. And she's actually sent back into the time of slavery, and because she pissed off a voodoo queen, and she pissed off what happens when a black person time travels. This young woman ticked off a co-worker who happened to be a voodoo practitioner, and the woman worked for months to get her to time travel and actually sends her back in time as sort of like a humbling experience, I guess. But yeah, black people shouldn't time travel, particularly not to slavery days. So she is what's considered a quadroon, which is like half black, half white, and you could pass, quote unquote, for being white, and she gets sent back in time, and it's just extremely harrowing. But it's funny, it's witty, it really takes on the subject of what happens when someone of an other color travels, and I really enjoyed this. Then there's Touch of Enchantment and Breath of Magic by Theresa Meredith, and this one is the first one, Breath of Magic. This young woman is accused of witchcraft during the early days of America, and I match. And this necklace saves her life by bringing her forward. Then this young woman It's a modern day woman, and she also gets the necklace, and it sends her back in time. And I just really enjoyed reading the stories and how they interacted and who was what from where. And it's just, Theresa makes really good writing, and I loved it. Can you tell I love time travel books? The next series of books are by the same author, and I'm actually going to do an author spotlight on her because I really love her, and that's Lynn Curlin. So we have Stardust of Yesterday, If I Had You, The Very Thought of You, Another Chance to Dream, This Is All I Ask, My Heart Stood Still, Dreams of Stardust, The More I See of You, and A Dance Through Time. Now, if you haven't figured it out, these all have to do with the Middle Ages. And what happens, in Scotland, there's a land called Seakirk, and on the land, so far, they've mapped about 20 portholes that will take you into different periods in time, either to the future or into the past. And it's just the different people who are coming to Seakirk, the family that lives there, the people who are visiting from other places who accidentally discovers these portholes, and people from the past who are coming through to the future. It's amazing. I really, really love the series, and I read these right around when I discovered Diana Gabaldon, and I was reading these at the time, and I loved collecting them. As you can see, I loved collecting all her works. So that, of course, is all the books that I can recommend. If you are a Hulu subscriber, there is a show called Doctor Who. And he's a Time Lord about time travel. Oh my god. If you don't know who Doctor Who is, what are you doing with your life? I just can't with you. Then there is a show called Misfits, which I absolutely love. And they're a bunch of teenagers who accidentally receive powers, and just one of them has the ability to travel through time. There's actually a couple of different time travel powers, and one of them, I really, really loved their interpretation of it and what would happen. Somebody gets the power to travel through time and attempts to go back to stop Hitler, and it's just, I love Misfits. And there's a lot of cursing, there's a lot of nudity. This is a mature TV show, so if you can't handle that, I wouldn't suggest it. But Misfits is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I hear they're trying to do a US version. I don't know how you're going to do a US version. Just, Misfits. I can't vouch for the very last season because I haven't watched the very last season, because all my favorite people, like Misfits, they have no respect. My favorite characters, guys, my favorite characters. And that's it. That's all I can think of that has time travel, other than the Time Machine. So I highly recommend those. Definitely check those out. And I'll leave links down below to blog posts that I'll do about, yes. So once again, that was Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series recommendations for those who would love to read more. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye! The fuck? Why did I just go blank? I know I always say I'll leave links and I suck at that, but I now have a mouse, you know, because the trackpad on my computer sucks. So I now have a wireless mouse that I can use, and I can clicky clicky and just, yeah, okay, I'm going to stop now.